6 numbers to win big and get rich in July, Tuesday the 22nd, 2025, Buddhist teachings. Have you ever noticed certain numbers keep showing up in your life on receipts, clocks, dreams, or even on a random Tuesday morning? What if those numbers weren't just coincidences, but calls? Quiet invitations from the universe, nudging you to pay attention not just to the possibility of luck or wealth, but to the deeper lessons your soul might be ready to receive. This video isn't about chasing fantasy or superstition. It's about decoding meaning. It's about understanding how numbers like signs on the road can guide us inward toward clarity, alignment, and sometimes surprising forms of abundance. Because true fortune isn't just about winning digits, about being ready to hold what life gives you with grace. So as July 22nd draws near, a day whispered by many to be rich with energy, we're diving into 6 powerful numbers, each with a message rooted in Buddhist wisdom and modern reflection. These aren't just numbers, they are mirrors. Whether you're looking for wealth, transformation, or simply a fresh start, stay with us. You might just discover the number that speaks directly to your moment. Welcome to the Journey of Wisdom. 1. Number 9. Completion, compassion, and renewal. Number 9 carries a powerful message for those walking the path of growth, especially for us between the ages of 30 and 65, where life often presents deep emotional reckonings and quiet inner shifts. In Buddhist symbolism, 9 represents completion not as an end, but as a sacred doorway to renewal and higher understanding. It gently urges us to look back with honesty, reflect on what has served its purpose, and lovingly let go of what no longer supports our peace. Just like how autumn leaves fall effortlessly from trees, trusting the cycle of seasons, we too are invited to release old fears, regrets, or expectations, so we can make space for fresh blessings. The Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to," reminding us that true richness in life is born not from grasping, but from allowing flow. In today's fast-paced world, where we often carry silent burdens from careers, relationships, or unmet personal dreams, this number becomes even more relevant. It encourages us to forgive ourselves and others, and to soften our hearts to what's possible next. Emotional and spiritual closure doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means honoring it for its lessons and stepping forward with clarity. This is the essence of growth, transformation through compassion. As the Dalai Lama said, compassion is not religious business, it is human business. The number 9, in this context, becomes a sacred reminder that wealth isn't just found in money or lottery numbers, but in the peace of a healed heart ready to receive. So, as July 22nd approaches, pause and ask yourself, what must I lovingly release to make room for joy, abundance, and a life that aligns with my true nature? When we clear the inner space, fortune, in all forms, naturally finds its way in. 2. Number 15. Gateway to luck and transformation. Let's talk about the number 15, not just as a digit, but as a powerful symbol for anyone seeking real change and a new chapter in life. If you've been feeling stuck or wondering when your luck will turn around, number 15 could be the spiritual nudge you've been waiting for. It represents fresh starts, growth, and the kind of inner stability that doesn't shake even when life gets tough. This isn't about gambling on chance, it's about releasing the mental blocks that hold you back. Sometimes we carry old beliefs like, "I'm not good enough," or "success isn't meant for me." But the truth is, number 15 calls you to let go of those patterns and step boldly into who you're meant to be. One listener named Sarah from Ohio shared her story with us after losing her job and feeling lost. She heard about number 15 in a video just like this. Inspired, She made a list of 15 bold intentions, from applying to new jobs to taking up meditation. 2 months later, she landed a remote job that allowed her to travel her lifelong dream. That's not magic, that's alignment. So I ask you, what part of your life is calling for a fresh start? What limiting belief could you release today? Remember, change begins the moment you give yourself permission to grow. Number 15 reminds us that transformation is not only possible, it's already on its way, if you're willing to take that first step. The lesson here is simple. When you realign with your purpose and say yes to growth, the universe meets you halfway. Keep your heart open, take action with intention, and you may discover that your greatest fortune lies not just in numbers, but in your courage to change. 3. Number 17. Balance and inner peace. Let's explore the deeper meaning behind the number 17, a number that carries a quiet but powerful message for anyone on a journey toward both success and inner peace. 17 symbolizes ambition that is grounded in serenity. It's about striving for something greater without losing your sense of balance along the way. In a world that often teaches us to hustle harder, push faster, and never rest, this number reminds you that true progress doesn't have to be chaotic or draining. Instead, real growth happens when your goals align with your inner calm. The Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within, do not seek it without." This teaching fits perfectly with the energy of 17. You're being called to ask yourself, are you chasing success in a way that disrupts your inner peace? Or are you building a life that allows you to grow while staying grounded? Number 17 encourages you to take ambitious steps, but with mindful intention. Think of it like a tree growing upward. It reaches for the sky, but only because its roots grow deep into the earth. The deeper the roots, the taller the tree can stand. In this way, your dreams and your stability are not separate, they support each other. One of our listeners, Mark from California, shared how he embraced the spirit of 17 in his life. He was climbing the corporate ladder quickly, but inside, he was burnt out and anxious. After learning about this number and reflecting on its message, he shifted his focus not by quitting his goals, but by bringing more mindfulness into his days. He started each morning with a 5-minute meditation, took time to connect with his loved ones, and allowed pauses between tasks. Over time, not only did his career continue to grow, but his sense of peace did too. That's the power of 17. It teaches us that balance is not the opposite of ambition, it is the foundation of it. So, I ask you now, in what areas of your life are you pushing so hard that you're forgetting to breathe? Where could you bring in more calm without sacrificing your goals? Remember, it's not about giving up your dreams, it's about changing the energy with which you pursue them. The number 17 serves as your spiritual anchor, reminding you that grace and determination can walk hand in hand. When you live with this balance, every step forward becomes more intentional, more powerful, and more fulfilling. As the Dhammapada teaches, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Let your life be that word. Let your actions speak from a place of centeredness, and you'll find that your path not only leads to success, but also to deep, lasting happiness. If you've watched up to this point, you're already aligned with the energy of abundance and transformation. Comment below with "winning wisdom" to affirm your commitment to these powerful teachings and your journey toward wealth. Don't click away just yet. There's still more insight ahead that could guide you to your lucky numbers for Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. Stay with us until the end and open the door to a future of prosperity and peace. 4. Number 23. Joy, connection, and exploration. Number 23 speaks directly to the heart of those between the ages of 30 and 65, a stage of life where responsibilities often outweigh spontaneity. and where many forget that joy itself is a sacred force for transformation. In both Buddhist wisdom and modern spiritual insight, number 23 radiates the energy of connection, playfulness, and light-hearted exploration qualities often left behind in the pursuit of careers, raising families, or managing the weight of expectations. Yet, the deeper truth is that laughter, creativity, and curiosity are not distractions from the spiritual path. They are the path. The Dalai Lama reminds us, happiness is not something ready-made, it comes from your own actions. And one of those actions is learning to embrace joy without guilt. This number nudges us to reconnect with the present moment through relationships, hobbies, nature, and even simple moments of silliness, not as escapism, but as medicine for the soul. In a world constantly urging us to be serious, productive, and efficient, number 23 teaches that transformation can be gentle and healing can come with a smile. Whether it's dancing with your children, taking up an old hobby, or having heartfelt conversations with friends, these small, joyful acts can dissolve years of stress, opening you to fresh insights and renewed energy. As Thich Nhat Hanh wisely said, sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. So, as July 22nd draws near, and you reflect on the 6 numbers said to hold potential, let number 23 remind you that joy is not just a feeling, it's a choice, a healing force, and a doorway to both spiritual and worldly wealth. Embrace it and let it guide you not only to luck, but to a life lived fully and freely. 5. Number 25. Spiritual insight and trust. Let's talk about the power behind the number 25, not just as a number, but as a message the universe might be whispering to you. If you're someone chasing success, happiness, or even hoping for a little luck this Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, then understanding this number could help open your path. Number 25 is deeply spiritual. It's not about rushing toward the finish line, it's about slowing down and learning to trust. Trust your timing, your journey, and most importantly, your inner voice. Sometimes you won't get immediate answers, and things won't go according to plan, and that's okay. 25 reminds you to have patience, to lean into your intuition, and to release the tight grip of control. Life unfolds as it should, and trying to force outcomes can cloud your vision and block blessings meant for you. There was a woman named Emily, living in Arizona, who had always been a high achiever. She built her career fast, set goals every quarter, and measured her worth by how productive she was. But one day, after her company went through major layoffs, Emily found herself without a title, without a plan, and full of anxiety. One day, she started seeing the number 25 everywhere, on bills, on street signs, and in small, everyday moments. After learning about the number 25, she knew she needed to stop and reflect. She remembered working non-stop since she was 25, never giving herself time to breathe. That realization changed everything. Instead of rushing into a new job, she took time to reconnect with herself, slow down, and even attended a mindfulness retreat. She found clarity not by running, but by letting go. Now, ask yourself, how often do you listen to your inner knowing? When life feels uncertain, can you sit still long enough to hear what it's trying to teach you? That's the heart of 25. Surrender and wisdom. As you move toward the 22nd, don't just look for numbers to listen for the message behind them. Maybe the lesson isn't just about getting rich, but about becoming more in tune with the rhythm of your life. The big takeaway here: stop chasing, start trusting. When you do, clarity, peace, and even a little luck might just find their way to you. 6. Number 70. 7. Spiritual mastery and alignment. Let me tell you about a number that holds deep meaning, not just in numerology, but also in spiritual growth and the path toward true fulfillment. And that number is 77. Now, if you've been seeing this number, or it comes to you on a special date like Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, don't take it lightly. In fact, the number 77 is often seen as a powerful symbol of spiritual mastery, inner alignment, and awakening to something greater than the material world. It's a double seven, which means its energy is amplified like a gentle but persistent call from your inner wisdom, asking you to pause, reflect, and truly listen. Think of it like this. Life is constantly offering us signs, but are we awake enough to notice? The number 77 is a signpost that says, you are on the right path, keep going, but go deeper. In Buddhist teachings, there is a quote that says, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. This number invites you to bring your thoughts, your actions, and your values into alignment. Are you living in a way that honors your inner truth? Are your decisions guided by intuition or fear? This is not just about luck, it's about resonance. When your daily life reflects your highest values, that's when true abundance, spiritual and even material, can begin to flow. 77 nudges you toward that integration, reminding you that it's not about chasing wealth blindly, but about attracting the right experiences because you are in harmony with your purpose. What is your soul really yearning for right now? Maybe it's peace or clarity or the courage to take a leap you've been avoiding. When we live with integrity, guided by mindful awareness and compassion, even numbers can become mirrors of our spiritual journey. And so, on this path, the journey of wisdom, we learn that true richness comes from walking our path with presence, with heart, and with trust. So, tell me, what does the number 77 awaken in you today? If your heart feels drawn to these 6 numbers and the message behind them, trust that inner calling. Comment, guided by wisdom, to seal your intention for abundance and spiritual growth. Stay tuned. What happens next could be the key to unlocking both material and spiritual wealth. Why do some people get rich quickly, but not sustainably? It's a question many have wondered. Why do some people become rich almost overnight, only to lose it all just as quickly or live in fear, stress, or emptiness despite their wealth? In the eyes of the world, wealth is a destination. But through the lens of Buddhist wisdom, it can be either a blessing or a test of the heart. Quick wealth isn't necessarily bad, but if the inner foundation isn't ready, riches can become a burden instead of a blessing. True wealth isn't only about how much we gain, but whether we are prepared mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to hold it with balance, compassion, and awareness. Number 1. Lacking inner readiness. When wealth comes too quickly to someone who hasn't cultivated the inner strength to carry it, the results can be unstable and even harmful not just to the person, but to those around them. It's like pouring water into a cracked vessel. No matter how much you pour, it leaks out. Financial success, when not matched by emotional maturity, ethical grounding, and spiritual awareness, is often short-lived. In Buddhism, the idea of sati mindfulness reminds us that the state of our mind determines how we handle what we receive. The Buddha wisely said, "The untamed mind is like a wild horse, it cannot carry you far." This speaks to the importance of mental training before material success. Without that, sudden prosperity can become a source of anxiety, ego, and misjudgment. We see this often in modern life. Lottery winners who fall into debt within years, or successful entrepreneurs who, despite their bank accounts, struggle with depression, addiction, or burnout. It's not because money is evil, it's because the inner foundation wasn't strong enough to hold it. Strength of character, clarity of purpose, and ethical discipline are what allow wealth to be a tool for good rather than a trap of self-destruction. In today's world, especially for those aged 30 and 65 who are transitioning into deeper phases of life and navigating career shifts, supporting families, or facing personal reinvention. The desire for financial security is natural and even necessary. But the real question is, are you ready inside for what you seek outside? Many chase riches without preparing their minds for the responsibility that wealth brings. As the Dhammapada teaches, whatever an enemy may do to an enemy, or a hater to a hater, an ill-directed mind can do greater harm. So, before wishing for more, it's essential to train the mind to stay calm in abundance as well as in lack. Wealth is not only measured in how much you have, but in how little it controls you. In this age group, many are rediscovering their values and beginning to realize that meaning matters more than money alone. Therefore, cultivating emotional stability, practicing generosity, and reflecting on one's deeper motivations becomes the real preparation for lasting success. Otherwise, even the most fortunate windfall can feel hollow, or worse, become a cause for suffering. Building that inner readiness isn't about perfection or spiritual superiority. It's about learning to pause, reflect, and respond, not react when life shifts. It's about seeing money not as a measure of your worth, but as a resource to serve your purpose. The Dalai Lama said, "A disciplined mind leads to happiness, and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering." So, ask yourself gently, if abundance arrived tomorrow, how would I care for it, and how would I care for myself? This is the heart of readiness, not in what you earn, but in how you live with what you earn. When the roots are deep, the wind may still blow, but the tree stands tall. And that's not just wealth, that's wisdom. Number 2, acting from craving instead of mindfulness. When more money enters your life, more choices naturally follow. But those choices aren't always blessings unless they're handled with awareness. Have you ever found yourself wanting something, not because you truly need it, but because it fills a temporary emotional gap? That's craving at work. It's that inner voice that says, "Buy it now, you deserve it," or "Everyone else is doing it, so why not me?" But craving, unlike mindful intention, is never satisfied. No matter how much you earn or acquire, if your decisions are driven by ego, fear of missing out, or insecurity, you may end up living a life full of things, but empty of peace. You might buy to impress others, invest based on hype, or chase short-term thrills that come with long-term regret. In Buddhist teachings, this is called mika ajiva, or wrong livelihood, using wealth in ways that deepen suffering rather than reduce it. When your financial actions are disconnected from your values, you might get richer on paper, but poorer in spirit. Think about this. Have you ever spent money out of anxiety rather than wisdom, or agreed to a deal just to prove your worth, only to feel regret soon after? These moments are not just financial mistakes, they're signals from within that you're not aligned. And the tricky part is, in a world that constantly encourages faster, bigger, and more, it's easy to lose yourself in the noise. We're told success is measured by how much we have, but Buddhism reminds us, true success is measured by how we use what we have. That's where mindfulness comes in. Instead of acting on impulse, mindfulness helps you pause and ask, does this choice support my well-being? Will this bring joy or suffering in the long run? Many people today, especially those between the ages of 30 and 65, are dealing with career pressure, family responsibilities, or rebuilding life after a loss. At these crossroads, money often feels like the solution. And yes, money can bring stability, but without self-awareness, it can also feed cycles of stress, comparison, or emotional burnout. The problem isn't wealth, it's how we relate to it. The Buddha once said, "It is a man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures him to evil ways." That's a powerful reminder. If our mind is ruled by craving, then no amount of money will bring us peace. But if our choices come from clarity and purpose, even a small amount of wealth can support a meaningful life. So let me ask you, what motivates your financial decisions, pressure or purpose? Are you chasing what others expect of you, or creating a life that feels right to your soul? These are not just financial questions, but spiritual ones, and the answers can change everything. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Don't let craving drive your life. Let clarity, kindness, and mindful intention be the guide. Because the truth is, it's not about how much you have, but about how peacefully and wisely you use what you have that defines your true wealth. Number 3. Spending karma, not building it. Let's talk honestly about something many people overlook: why some individuals become rich quickly but can't seem to hold on to that wealth. One powerful reason is this: they're spending karma, not building it. Maybe you've known someone like this, or maybe you've seen it in the news. A person suddenly becomes successful, perhaps from a business breakthrough, an inheritance, or even sheer luck. But over time, that abundance begins to slip away. Why? Because their wealth came from good karma, from past actions rooted in generosity, honesty, and kindness. But once the riches showed up, they stopped practicing the very behaviors that brought them blessings in the first place. It's a bit like living off the interest of an old investment without ever contributing to the principal again. In Buddhist wisdom, karma isn't just about cause and effect in some mystical sense, it's practical. When you do good, speak kindly, act with integrity, and serve others, you generate positive energy that supports your life in visible and invisible ways. The Buddha said, "Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life." That spiritual life includes generosity, gratitude, and a conscious connection to something greater than yourself. So if you gain wealth but forget to keep nurturing those roots, that fortune becomes unstable, just like a well that runs dry because no new water is being added. Now, ask yourself this: are you only drawing from your past good deeds, or are you still planting seeds of goodness every day? It's easy to get comfortable once success arrives, but comfort can quietly breed complacency. Some people begin to focus only on themselves, their status, or accumulating more without realizing they've shifted from giving to grasping. This shift, though subtle, begins to unravel the very fabric that held their abundance together. In today's fast-paced world, where success is often measured by speed and volume rather than depth and meaning, it's easy to forget the spiritual foundation of prosperity. But think about this: how would your wealth serve you if you lost your peace, your relationships, or your sense of purpose? Would that still feel like success? And if your good fortune started as a result of kindness or service, wouldn't continuing those acts be the most natural and powerful way to keep the blessings flowing? This teaching isn't just about material wealth. It's about a whole life richness where your bank account, your relationships, your mind, and your heart are all in harmony. Generosity is not just about money. Sometimes, giving your time, attention, or simply being present for others is the most valuable offering. The Dhammapada reminds us, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. That's the truth of sustainable wealth. So, I want to gently ask you, are you still lighting lamps? Are you giving back to the world in a way that nourishes others and yourself? If the answer is yes, then know that you're not only keeping your well full, you're turning your wealth into something truly meaningful. And if not, don't worry. Every day is a chance to begin again. The message is clear. Lasting wealth isn't just about what you gain. It's about what you give, who you become, and how you live along the way. If this message touched your heart, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Just share this simple sentence: I choose to build good karma every day. Let's fill the space below with positive intentions and reminders that true wealth begins within. Number 4. Hoarding instead of managing. One of the reasons people get rich quickly but fail to hold on to that wealth is because they fall into the trap of hoarding instead of managing. It's a very human instinct to hold on tightly to what we fear losing. Many believe that the more they guard their money, the safer they'll be. But the truth is, wealth is like energy, it must flow to stay alive. When money is locked away out of fear or misused out of impulse, it loses its power to serve both the person who owns it and the greater good. The Buddha taught, attachment leads to suffering, and this couldn't be more relevant when we talk about money. Holding wealth too tightly out of fear can cause the very instability we're trying to avoid. You might ask, what's wrong with saving? Isn't that responsible? Yes, saving is important, but only when it's paired with wisdom, intention, and purpose. Saving out of fear is very different from saving out of mindfulness. The former leads to anxiety and isolation, while the latter leads to security and empowerment. Many people between the ages of 30 and 65 are in a stage of life where financial planning is crucial, whether it's saving for retirement, helping kids through school, or preparing for life's uncertainties. But this stage also invites us to reflect deeper. Am I controlling my money, or is my money controlling me? To manage wealth wisely is to see it not as something to own, but something to steward. And stewardship requires understanding, responsibility, and heart. Money that's only saved without purpose often becomes stagnant. It doesn't circulate, help others, or even grow. On the other hand, wealth that is invested with care, shared with generosity, and aligned with your deepest values becomes a source of peace not just for you, but for everyone it touches. Warren Buffett once said, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." And I would add, spend, save, and give based on what you value, most not just what you fear losing. In Buddhism, we are taught about right livelihood and right intention, both of which remind us that money, when guided by wisdom and compassion, becomes a tool for liberation rather than a cause for attachment. So how do you know if you're hoarding instead of managing? Ask yourself, am I afraid to give? Do I hesitate to invest in meaningful things like education, health, or helping someone in need because I feel I never have enough? If so, it might be time to shift from fear-based control to mindful leadership of your finances. Sustainable wealth is built on clarity and confidence, not scarcity and suspicion. When you manage money with balance, knowing when to save, when to invest, and when to give, you unlock its true potential. You also transform your own relationship with it, turning it from a source of stress into a channel of purpose. As Lao Tzu once said, "He who knows he has enough is rich." So let your wealth move with intention. Let it grow with wisdom, and let it serve not just your future, but the peace of your present. Number 5. Rich outside, poor inside. One of the deepest and often most painful reasons why some people get rich quickly but can't sustain that wealth is because they become rich on the outside but remain poor on the inside. And maybe you've seen this in real life, someone who seems to have everything. The house, the car, the career, the social status, yet they walk through life feeling disconnected, anxious, or deeply unfulfilled. It's a strange kind of poverty, one that isn't visible on a balance sheet, but can be felt in quiet moments when no one else is around. This inner emptiness happens when material success becomes a substitute for emotional and spiritual growth. The pursuit of more money, more possessions, more recognition can start to replace the need for meaning, purpose, and peace. And when that happens, even luxury starts to feel hollow. As the Buddha said, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." That quote reminds us that peace of mind, emotional connection, and a meaningful life are far more valuable than anything we can buy or accumulate. So let me ask you, have you ever chased a goal thinking it would make you feel complete, only to find that the feeling didn't last? That's a sign that the outer success wasn't aligned with your inner needs. In our modern world, especially for those of us between the ages of 30 and 65, it's easy to get swept up in the demands of life, climbing the ladder, building a family, making sure everything looks good from the outside. But the truth is, real fulfillment comes when your outer life and inner life are in harmony. Wealth without emotional connection can lead to isolation. Status without purpose can feel meaningless, and comfort without clarity can turn into restlessness. That's why so many people who achieve quick success find themselves asking, is this all there is? Not because they're ungrateful, but because deep down, the soul longs for more than just things. It longs for authenticity, connection, and peace. So how do we prevent ourselves from becoming rich outside but poor inside? By turning our attention inward not just once, but regularly. By checking in with ourselves and asking, am I happy or just busy? Am I connected or just surrounded by people? Am I building a life I truly love or just one that looks good on the surface? These questions aren't easy, but they open the door to genuine transformation. The lesson here is simple and powerful. True wealth includes peace of mind. It includes love, clarity, compassion, and joy. It's not about rejecting money or success, but about making sure those things are rooted in something deeper. You can absolutely live a prosperous life, but let that prosperity start within. A person who is rich in spirit will naturally manage their outer wealth with grace, wisdom, and generosity. So don't just build your bank account, build your inner world too. Because when you are rich in peace, in kindness, in meaning, then no matter what happens to your money, you will never feel truly poor. As we've seen, the numbers themselves are not just about luck, they are mirrors reflecting our readiness, our mindset, and the depth of our spiritual journey. Whether you're seeking wealth, peace, or transformation this July 22nd, remember, true fortune begins within. Thank you for walking this path with The Journey of Wisdom. If today's insights brought you clarity or inspiration, please support us by liking this video, sharing it with someone who may need it, and subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming videos filled with Buddhist wisdom and mindful reflections. Until next time, may you be well, may your heart stay open, and may you always walk in alignment with what truly matters.